Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone around the world, wherever you are. This is Catania Alvin, feeling invigorated, having had my super blue-green algae and my faux tea in it, which is wonderful, faux tea. Its also name is Ho Shi Wu, and super blue-green algae is very energizing, very good for you. I get that from Klamath Lake, and I take it on a daily basis. So there's my suggestion for you all. I take it in yogurt, and I have some yeast with it as well. Right, now back into the COVID area. Well, I thought this was too good to miss out. No more fake news.com, the real news, and a lovely picture of John Rappaport. Heading, Delusion Called Fauci, by John Rappaport. Well, I noticed on a friend's Facebook the very interesting image and comments from the president of Ghana. And, well, I think he thinks the same thing. Now, if I look at John's, he doesn't necessarily talk about what is in the WHO, World Health Organization. But certainly, the president of Ghana, talking to his Ghanaians nation, is talking about that he went onto the WHO website and discovered some very interesting things about the planned pandemic of COVID-19 and what it aimed to do. Well, very interesting. So I hope that I have some visitors. If I blow your bubble wide open, you might not want to subscribe, but I don't mind about that because I'm really a truth seeker and a truth proclaimer. That's my intention anyway. But this was very beautiful because also I recalled a short while ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe a little longer, where the Tanzanian Prime Minister was backing the use of Artemisia, which is called wormwood. Sage, the herb sage, does the same thing. But we can get wormwood here, grow it. Anyway, they grow it in, I think it's Madagascar. It was being grown. And he was commenting on the Prime Minister of Madagascar. I think I've got the story right. And good for him. And it was so ridiculed by various media I passed quickly in the night. These people are so stupid. I'm not talking about the suggestion to use wormwood. It's just its name. Anyway, what is discovered is that actually why it works is because it clears the system from worms and parasites, which of course break down the immune system, etc. So it stands to reason. It's a good thing. So I will put my plug in for that. I don't have any shares. Just go out and buy it in the shop. Artemisia or wormwood, you can get it in drops. You can get tea, or you can go and buy some sage, or go and, better still, pick sage from your sage plant, or go and buy a plant and grow it. Okay, and take that regularly, because that sage is salve. It's very, very, it's well known for being an extremely good herb. And no, I'm not a doctor, but I am a health practitioner, and I'm just saying what I do, and then you can follow it if you want, or look into it. I suggest you look into it. So here we go. He starts very nicely. I might stop it occasionally because he's got a somewhat thick Ghana accent, which is not always easy to hear.
Dear fellow Ghanaians, please listen to this extract from the Rockefeller Foundation article. It's actually on the website, a PDF document, and this is the outline. 1. Hypothesize a simulated global outbreak. Required steps, various phases, overall timeline, and expected outcomes. Rockefeller Lockstep 2010.
Rockefeller Lockstep 2010, which is on the WHO website. So that's what you'll be looking for.
Create a very contagious but super low mortality rate virus.
Did you hear that? Create a super low but mortality virus. He'll go on.
Create, to fit the needed plan. And they have SARS/HIV hybrid research strain. So you see, it is not a purely viral thing. It's a hybrid research strain created at Fort Detrick Class 4 lab from 2008 to 2013 as part of a research project to find out why coronavirus spread like wildfire in bats but have an extremely hard time infecting humans, hence the 4 HIV insects, also known as the missing key to infect the humans, ACE2 receptor in brackets. Create a weaponized version of the virus with a much higher mortality rate as a backup plan.
Did you hear that? Create a weaponized aspect of the virus as a backup plan. Backup? Are we talking about genocide by any chance here? Wanting to depopulate the planet? Like the Duke of Edinburgh? If I was a virus, if I had to come back, I'd come back as a deadly virus. Nice man. To kill everyone. Ooh. This planet is filled with some extremely questionable people. And questionable is probably not the right word.
Ready to be released in phase 3, but only if needed. And they have, in brackets, SARS, HIV, MERS, Middle Eastern Respiratory.
So, SARS, HIV, and MERS, which of course apparently is also in this COVID-19 virus already.
This or something.
Which, by the way, comes from the Patent Office of Great Britain. Get that one.
A weaponized tri-brain strain created at Fort Detrick Class 4 lab in 2015.
I heard the word weaponized. Did you?
Okay. Transport the research strain to a different Class 4 lab, National Microbiology Lab in Winnipeg, Canada, and have it stolen.
Oh, I'm in Canada, and that's in Winnipeg. Not very far as the crow flies, I don't think.
And smuggled out by China. Wow.
So here is the plan. This is what you're listening to. This brilliant man, and doesn't he look wonderful? He's smiling, he's strong. What a great leader. Not by that rat called Fauci. What a difference. And a few others I can think of as well. But my goodness, what a fine man. He's got a fine character. And how wise of him to share it with his fellow Ghanaians.
On purpose, and taken to China's only Class 4 laboratory, Wuhan Institute of Virology in Wuhan, China, for added plausible deniability and to help cement the wanted backup public script as something to fall back on if needed. Primary script being its natural backup script being that China created it and released it by accident.
They've got all these backups of how they're going to say, oh, it wasn't my fault, so and so, but it was by accident. You know how kids play.
That's why we said pandemic or accident according to plan. From all the talking heads, Fauci, Bergs, Tedros, and agencies, WHO, NIH, CDC, UN, that would be involved with pandemic response prior to the planned release of the research strain to control the wanted script throughout the operation. Create and fund the vaccination development and rollout plan so it's capable of being rolled out on a global scale.
Ah, that's very interesting. They've got to that, and he's got to that point in reading the information he's reading out. Yes, his Bill Gates and Melinda Gates have got their little fingers in there, part of the death trap.
The Gates Decade of Vaccines Global Vaccine Action Plan 2010 to 2020. Create and fund the vaccination verification certification protocols, digital ID, to confirm the vaccination program after the mandatory rollout is enacted.
Did you hear the word to enforce? Right. I've written my I do not consent, which is down here somewhere, I think. Oh no, it's not. I must put it up later. I've written I do not consent. We have authority. We're divine. We're common law individuals, every one of us. Very often we don't realize, and we come under the government because we believe that they have power over us. They believe that they've got power over us. That's why we have to say, once we've woken up that they don't have power over us, that's why we have to say, I do not consent. I do not consent to you doing this and that and the other, and I certainly don't consent to you doing it to me. Okay, on we go. What a wonderful man.
Gates ID 2020. Similar to the lockstep hypothesis just prior to the planned research strain release, using a real-world exercise as a final war game to determine the expected response timelines and outcomes. Gates, and that's Event 201, October 2019. Release the research strain at the Wuhan Institute of Virology itself, and then blame its release on a natural scapegoat as the wanted primary script, the Wuhan wet market, November.
Oh, release it and then blame it. That is so old school British. Wasn't me, miss, sort of thing. Not that I want to be getting at the Brits, but I'm British and I was brought up in Britain. And this whole thing of waving the flag, the British flag, rule Britannia, think you can take everyone else to war, you can murder them, you can kill them, and then you're British. And you're supposed to be proud of it. Well, I am proud of being, I'm proud of being a human being that stands up for truth and honesty and integrity. And I like anyone else who does the same, irrespective of their race, colour, creed, or anything. And boy, this lovely black man, boy does he matter, and his words matter. But those that are rioting and pulling statues down, whatever colour they are, they're outrageous.
2019, you see how this sin has been really captioned? This is mystery of iniquity, wickedness.
I love his words. The iniquity. It is. It's evil. I think he used the word mischievous. Now, I may be wrong, but that's also, it's a very Victorian word, but it's like those who plan and plot to make mischief. In other words, stirring the pot. And then, of course, they make war. And then who makes the money? The bankers.
Cached in secrecy. Downplay the human-to-human transmission for as long as possible to allow the research strain to spread on a global scale.
Oh, downplay it. So let's spread it.
Before any country can lock down or respond to avoid initial infection. Can you imagine? No wonder the WHO, that's exactly what the WHO did. Downplay the human-to-human transmission for as long as possible to allow the research strain to spread on a global scale before any